Shabbat shalom, everyone. Great to see you all here. Full house on this Shabbat Shuvah. Very grateful that you're all here and grateful to be on this journey of the high holidays with you all. So in 1970, on Billy Joel's debut album, Cold Spring Harbor, he ended the album with the words, "I've got to begin again, though I don't know how to start. Yes, I've got to begin again, and it's hard." Yes, I've been on a bit of a Billy Joel kick since the HBO documentary came out. Some of you may have seen that one. But when a video of Billy singing this song popped up randomly on my YouTube, the title itself stood out to me in this season of renewal, transformation, and repentance. One lyric in the song especially caught my attention. "I see the way that I've been spending my days, and it caught me by surprise. I was dreaming of tomorrow, so I sacrificed today, and it sure was a grand waste of time." That lyric hit me like a ton of bricks. Am I doing this in my life? Aren't we all, in some way or another? In our society that's driven on the promise of opportunity and the American dream of success, we often spend a lot of time thinking about tomorrow, but sacrificing today. We lose sight of what is really important in the rat race of work, advancement, wealth, and status. We lose sight of our family. We miss chances to connect with friends and community. We spend our precious time numbing our minds on social media and TV when we could be doing any number of more beneficial activities. And in many ways, this is not your fault, per se. Our world, in many ways, is set up to pull us towards nonstop work, give us just enough time to do our necessary errands, and then exhaust us to the point where all we want to do is watch or scroll. But is this a life? Can we truly call this endless loop living? This Shabbat Shuvah, we are confronted by the prophet Micah with a rebuke couched in comfort. In Micah's vision of redemption for the Jewish people, he calls upon them and upon us to return to the Holy One, to beg forgiveness and accept all the good that we have done this year. But key to this process of change for Micah is his vision that the people will no longer call the works of their hands gods. Now, in the original context, Micah is speaking to the fact that idols are indeed made by human beings, by their hands, and therefore are definitionally not divine in any way. But reading this verse in our modern context, where physical idol creation and worship is perhaps not so alluring or common as it once was, it is hard not to read this as a rebuke for the way too many of us live. We live as if our profession is the ultimate aim in our life. We substitute work for God. We sometimes worship wealth and physical possessions, and then maybe fit in a little bit of God if we have the time. Now, this is an easy trap for us to all fall into. As I said before, in many ways, this is not our fault. It is a result of a society that values work over the important things in life. It is a result of the so-called Puritan work ethic that has been adopted across our country, where hard work itself takes on a godly quality. Now, let me be clear. Judaism is not against work or earning a living. It is not sinful to make money if the way that you are doing it is upright. And it is not sinful to aspire to a career or a certain position in your life. Our Torah commands us, 6 days you shall do labor and do all your work, but on the seventh day shall be a day of rest for the eternal your God. Now, some rabbis take that to mean that the Torah commands us to work in some occupation during the 6 days of the week. And indeed, many of the great rabbis of our tradition had jobs outside of their rabbinic role. Hillel was a wood chopper. Shammai the elder was a builder. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai was a businessman. Abba Shaul was a gravedigger. Rabbi Yochanan HaSandlar was a shoemaker. Rabbi Yeshua ben Chananya was a blacksmith. Rav Chis and Rav Papa were beer brewers. And Mar Shmuel was a doctor, of course, Jewish doctor. Surprise. Furthermore, it is a mitzvah, according to the Talmud, to teach your child a good trade that will earn them a living. Work itself is a necessary part of life in our traditions and often gives us purpose. But when work becomes a substitute for God, when we forget our spiritual essence and give all our strength to a profession, we lose our divine purpose in this life. We lose the energy to learn Torah, to do mitzvot, to participate positively in our society and government, and to connect with those that we love. We begin to consciously or not worship the work of our hands. And we are not alone. We simply become subsumed into a society that already does the same. And even rabbis are not immune to this. Both Rabbi Hodson and I got into this line of work out of a deep feeling of connection with our tradition, with God, with prayer, with Torah. But as someone who is recently making the transition between rabbinical student and rabbi, I have found that it can be very easy, to get lost in the constant stream of upcoming duties, holidays, and events, and lose sight of my own spiritual connection as part of this community in the present. Like Billy Joel, I've been dreaming of tomorrow, but sacrificing today. And if it wasn't a grand waste of time, it surely was a lost opportunity. As stressful as rabbi life can be, I found that I have also reveled in the busyness, right? That's why it's called business, after all, it's busy. The seemingly endless needs of a community, feeling pride upon checking off each item on my checklist. And this is not a bad thing, but this is also not everything. We must remember what we were brought into this world to do. What is our sacred purpose? What are we ultimately shooting for? Some of those goals can come through a job, but the job itself is not the essential purpose. So here we are at the end of the road. Where do we go from here? I had to sing a little bit for you. What do we choose as our priorities in this life? How do we use the precious time we are given to allow for work, rest, and our spiritual needs? How can we cease calling the work of our hands our gods? How can we return to our spiritual essence in this new year while still living in the world? I don't have the answer, but I want you to know that we are on this journey with you. And we, as your rabbis, are here for you to explore how to navigate these divergent needs of our life and help you to strike a balance. Unfortunately, we alone cannot stop the system of nonstop work and the pressures that come with it. But we can be there for you. And as a community, we can share the burden of our personal struggles and together find ways to rise above and beyond them. But wherever you are going this year, one thing is clear on this Shabbat of return: we've got to begin again. I wish us all the strength to figure out where we are headed and how to begin this new year again together. Shabbat Shalom.